So I've been thinking about making this video for a while. Something that happened to me. I'm totally fine. Everything's good. You know, cutting all the suspense and everything else like that. But there's nothing wrong with me, thankfully. But March 6th, I think it was like March 6th. March 6th of 2023. I went to get blood drawn just for like a usual STD test. I haven't done one in like 2 years. Y'all know I'll be out here tricking. And I hadn't done one for like 2 years. So then that was like the 7th. I got the results back for like AIDS, HIV, and I was good on that and all this other stuff. And then it was like the 8th. I think it was a Wednesday. Sitting on my desk, I get the call. And they were like, yeah, you're positive for HSV-2, which is genital herpes. And I was just like, wait, what? Like, I'm talking going into it, like, but you know, I haven't seen anything. There's nothing wrong with me. I mean, what does this mean? So on and so forth. Just like going in, like just not going off on the lady, but just like, yo, listen, you know, what's going on? And you know me, like, I'll make a joke out of anything. And I was just like, so does this mean I'm fucking radioactive? And the lady was like, ha ha ha, no. And she was like kind of laughing a little bit. And I'm like, but I'm thinking, you know, it was just weird that she was laughing because it's like, I didn't say anything that was totally funny or anything like that, but maybe she was just nervous. Anyways, so I didn't take real offense to it at the moment. And even later on, I was just like, why did she laugh? And I was like, all right, cool. So with HSV-2, if you do your research, you know, there's the usual stuff where you talk to people and they'll be like, oh, you know, and a friend of mine called me right after. And I was just like, bro, I just heard this. And I haven't even now, I haven't really told my family. Like, my nephew will probably see this or something like that. But I haven't really told my family. And I was just like, you know, it's kind of hard to tell people that are like that close to you. Because of how it looks, or how you think it looks, how you will look, how you will be perceived, so on and so forth, right? And that like really kind of fucked with me in my head, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna eventually say something. But yeah, for those couple days, that was like Wednesday, so it was like, I think it was like Thursday, Friday. I was like not, but you know how like you just get hit with something, and you're not so much depressed, but it's always on your mind. Like, it is at the forefront of your mind. Like, you can't work, you're not writing code, no nothing. I'm not fixing no machines, none of that shit. I just want a fucking day off. Like, I just want the weekend to get here. But even if the weekend gets here, that changes nothing, you know? Like, it's like, dang, you know, it's like, oh, I can have an outbreak any minute. I can have a fucking flare up any minute. It's like, this shit is gonna fucking, like, you know, going to the bathroom every time. And so, you know, I started doing what I do, like talk to people and stuff like that. And, you know, you usually you hear the usual same thing, like, oh, well, you know, everybody has herpes, you know, like cold sores or herpes and stuff like that. Now, mind you, what I went into that doctor appointment for was for allergies and just to get a test. So I don't know if it was why the number that I had, because, and I'll go into that, the index, why the number I had it wasn't like super high or anything like that, but why it was elevated to the point where I reached past the threshold to be positive. Also, another thing is, some of these medical professionals can't read a fucking test. So imagine if I wasn't strong-willed, strong-minded, because it just went through my fucking head, hey, I can just grab this 9mm under my desk and just call it a fucking day, or just call it a fucking life. Like, some of these people can't read a test, man, or can't read an output of a test. So you'll be kind of like surprised. In fact, I still got to get like the paperwork from this latest test. So, you know, I talked to 1 or 2 people and stuff like that. And I had already made an appointment with a long-term health care doctor because I don't have one where I live, since again, like 2020 was the last time I took a test like this. And that was when I was still living in Florida. So I've been up here for 2 going on 3 years, and I just don't have like a doctor down here, a doctor up here. So with that being said, that whole weekend was that whole couple of days was it was rough. I canceled a lot of stuff. I was already on break from working out, but you start to think like, yo, can I give this to somebody else? Because my biggest thing is like, I don't want to hurt nobody. Like, I know what I did. I know the shit that I be out here doing. I know what I did, but it's like to hurt somebody else, that fucks with me. Like, that fucks with me. Like, yo, all right, cool. I'm fucked, but me fucking up somebody else, possibly like, yo, just randomly in the fucking gym, and so like, you go through, they have like different levels of stuff, because you start reading like, yo, do I really have it? Could it be wrong? Oh my God. And I want to be like, quote unquote, real with people and talk to people about it, because not just because it's like, hey, I escaped, dodged a bullet. And I'll tell you how that happened too. Really, I really want to be real with people, because I always end videos like, yo, love y'all, wish y'all the best, so on and so forth, appreciate you, things like, I really do mean that. So I was even thinking about this video. I was just like, yo, good or bad, I'm going to make this video. So I'm sorry, I'm looking all over the place, because I'm just thinking, like, trying to recall everything, and that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, like, it was rough, because, just working and having that on your mind and thinking about the shit, like not eating, like noticing I haven't eaten anything. And then also like canceling, like, I go to boxing 2 times a week, and I go to the gym 3 times a week. So I have my trainers and coach and stuff like that. And it's like, not like we're out there hugging or some shit, but what if I was doing like Brazilian jiu-jitsu or something like that, grappling or something like that, rolling and all this other stuff, like where you really have skin to skin contact with people and things like that. And these people, like, they don't, especially if it's like a dojo or something like that of some sort, they don't really test. They're like, oh, you look good. You wouldn't come in here if you were sick. And it's like, you don't know that. You don't know who you rolling with, in a sense, right? I mean, that could be anything, right? It's like you could wear a fucking condom while you're fucking rolling and like over your body, But I don't do that. I do boxing, so it's like stand up. Even like my what's her name? Not her name, but what she do? My massage therapist. I haven't seen my massage therapist in a minute. And it's just like, because that's the person that really has like real skin to skin contact, she puts her hands on me, massages and everything else like that. And it's just like, yo, like, this is a cool lady. I wouldn't want to do this shit to her. I wouldn't want to fuck her up like that, or even be a part of that and have to explain that and have to deal with that and be responsible for it. I was like, all right, well, I'll just have to be complete like fucking monk mode type shit. Like I really have, like, it's over, in a sense, is how I was looking at it. And not just like, oh, life is over. Because they, when you start researching, people are like, well, your life isn't really over. You can continue on. And it's just like, man, fuck that noise. Like that, like, it's kind of like having the freedom taken away from you. Like you can't do that anymore. And not because you can't physically, because you could still like get hard, stick your dick in some bitch. But you can't just do it and have fun. Like you got to like worry about a whole bunch of other shit. You got to take all these pills to be suppressive. And I was even looking at like, AA meetings and shit, like fucking Herpes Anonymous meetings or some shit like that. And like, support groups and all this other stuff. And like, bro, it was a rough couple of days, and especially the weekend going into it. But I decided, like, after I started reading articles and everything like that, I was like, well, let me go get my test results. So I got the test results printed out. I think that was, I forgot when that was, but I got the test. It was before the 13th, which was the following week. So I got the test results printed out, and then I saw my index score just to like make sure. So in an article that I read, if you're the way they determine if you have herpes or not, because you always have some semblance of herpes in your system, it's just how it shows, how it manifests itself. If it's a cold sore, which is HSV-1, or a genital like lesions and stuff like that, or in the area of infection, and then also lesions on your butthole. It's just like, and I was just like, oh no, oh wow. I was like, oh God, that's fucking. I'm a man, damn it. I'm a heterosexual male, I swear. Like, so in the article, it says the way the herpes test works is anything lower than 0.91, don't have it, right? It doesn't mean you don't have something like that in your system. It's just like you don't have it. It's kind of like with HPV, like it doesn't affect men, but it affects women, stuff like that. And you can't even test really for HPV. So you can still like contract it from someone else or from a woman and then spread it to another woman, and it hurts her and it causes cervical cancer and stuff like that. But with HSV-2 or genital herpes, anything less than 0.091, actually HSV-1 and 2, anything less than 0.091 or 0.91, you don't have it. 0.91 to 1.09, equivocal, meaning that you have to get retested. 1.09 and up, you have it. I scored like it's a fucking test, or like it was like okay, it was a test. I scored 1.16, and I was just like, fuck. Like, and I'm thinking to myself, like, yo, how long have you had it? And you start looking up the test. There's like an IgG test versus an IgM test. And with the IgM test, it shows that's the one can kind of signify if you've had it for a long period of time or a short period of time. IgG test, like, there's like, it has a different, different indicators or different things that, and if somebody, like anybody that wants to correct me, go ahead, no problem. Like, the information's here. This is what the manosphere in a sense is about, is sharing this information. And I mean, sharing this information and putting it out there. Some people overshare. That's me. And some people don't want to, but hopefully it helps one or two people out, even if it's not directly, but indirectly it helps another person. And understanding the test and understanding what all this means and understanding false positives and also how to read the test as well. So 1.16 was my score. Now, in an article that I read, 1.1 to 5, the higher, the more likely you have it. But 1.1 to 5, and I don't know what the max is, but 1.1 to 5, an index score of 1.1 to 5, you can still actually not have it. And I was just like the thing with the herpes test, and I was told this by a medical professional years ago, it's hard with that test because everybody has some form of herpes. But it's hard with that test because the form of herpes that you can actually show positive for it, not show any signs, and also not spread it. Or you can show no signs and spread it, and it'll never affect you, or it won't affect you until years later, decades later, things like that. So you have some form of it, but is it a form that would cause genital, is it a form that would cause some type of like genital lesions or something like that? Which is just like a whole collection of like fucking pimples and shit bumps that are very painful. And I'll tell you about the doctor visit I had on the 13th, which was the following Monday. So then, you know, I'm reading up on this and I got the test and I'm looking at all this and I'm like, okay. So it's like, but then there's another test on there, right? And it says like IgG supplemental. And I'm like, I don't know what this is. And when you look it up, you don't know what these tests really mean. So you start to ask, like, you know, you start to look around and ask questions. And then I'm still in the, okay, not try to hide this, but like, yo, some things you got to keep close to the vest. Like maybe you tell like people, a person that's close to you, family and things like that. But some of that stuff you got to be like, it's just, you really start to be like, damn, dude, I don't want to lose friends. And I didn't think that, like, I don't think, like, none of my friends would do that. But it's like, what I was really thinking was not that I would lose friends, but damn, I don't want to be looked at in this way. And then I thought to myself, well, did you do anything for you not to be looked at in this way? You know, as a founding member of or I think the only member of the League of Unapologetic Tricks. You understand what comes with it. You understand what this means, you know? And that was another reason why I wanted to put the video out, because I always talk about tricking as an option and stuff like that. Shit like this happens, dude. And I honestly, like, I never like stuck it in, you know, I never stuck it in without a condom. Got head without a condom. 1 or 2 times, a couple times, but never like just like raw dog some like street bitch, like, you know, some stripper. And I was even talking to my homeboy, and he's like, yeah, man, I be getting head without a condom all the time, like. And I'm like, yeah, bro, you can fucking get it. And this is when I'm thinking like, yo, I have it. Like, this is my life now. Like, I'm sitting at my computer looking at the view that I always show you guys and everything else like that, and like looking out, and I'm like, you know, looking at the water, and it was a little bit, you know, I think it was like overcast that day, and then it was cold a little bit, and I'm looking out the water like, this is my life now. It's just me. This is a part of me. This is a new chapter in my life. Who am I? Who will I become? Like, I'm really legit thinking this shit like, damn. Let me grab this gun real quick. You know, like, it popped in my head, and I was just like, nah, fuck that. I like anime and music, and food tastes good, so whatever. And that really, that's really what happened. But, you know, you start to do your research. You're looking all over the place and everything else like that. Shit, can't even jerk off, man, because it's like, nigga, you got me in trouble. Okay, you're blaming yourself. You're looking at yourself, but you're trying to like push it off to somebody. And this is where, like, you know, I thought about it, because I had talked to somebody, and I was like, man, you know, I can't really say nothing, you know, about this, because I can't really, you know, fucking punch air and shit and be mad about this, because I was out here. I was out here like fucking strippers. You can't, like, I can't be sitting here like, you know, again, being a part of the League of Unapologetic Tricks, you really are not apologizing for your actions, but you're also taking accountability for your actions. And like, even when I was talking to my homeboy, he was just like, bro, you sounded fine on the phone and everything. I was like, yeah, you know, it is what it is. And he's like, bro, for you to like take it like this, that's kind of crazy. And I'm like, yeah, bro, I've talked to you many times, man, about, you know, me being out here. He's like, yeah. And I was like, this is what happens. And he's like, but bro, and I was like, bro, this is what happens, dude. So, so Monday comes, and I'm going into the doctor with the test results printed out and shit. I don't give it to the nurse at the front desk, because I was like, I'm just going to discuss the results with the doctor. But then the nurse was like, hey, can I scan this into the record? And I was like, all right, cool. So she scans it into the record. And like, that was one of those like, damn, she knows I got it type shit. Like, that was one of those like, whoa. And I live in a small town, so it's like, fuck. But it's okay, because at the end of the day, semi-okay, you know, like, you don't know the long-term ramifications, but you're trying to like, you're trying to accept it. You're trying to go through those different stages of everything. You're just trying to accept, you know, your fate in a sense, or what you did to your, like, what you did to put yourself into this like situation. And I'm like, all right, it is what it is. It is what it is. You know, I worked hard to be here. So, you know, might as well accept it. And I'm really thinking this way. And I'm not trying to act like, you know, I wasn't scared or anything like that, but it was one of those things where it's like, all right, cool. All right. Like, it was really like that. It wasn't like crying. It wasn't fighting. I don't think I ever cried over, I have never cried, since all this shit went down. I never really cried about it or nothing. And, I was like, holy shit, man. Okay. And then the doctor comes in and I started, hey, listen, doc, I just want to talk about my test results and what this means and if there's any like medications, long-term support. I heard there's medication for suppression and everything like that. And then he's just like, hey, you're good. You don't have it. And I was like, nigga, what? If I was good at the edits, I would do that whole meme like, we're like, what? Like, no, what? Like, I'm happy, but I'm like, nah, doc, like, go ahead and look at that paper again, bro. Like, I'm not trying to say you don't know what you're talking about, but the lady at the immediate care that called me and was kind of giggling on the phone, she knows what she read the test. She knows what doc. Talk to me, doc. Talk to me. Talk to me. My dog's talking to me. And I'm like, doc, I mean, and I'm happy, but at the same time, like, kind of like asking the same thing and like repeating it. It's like, yo, doc, what's going on? Like, I don't understand this, blah, blah, blah. So what he explained to me, which they didn't explain to me at the immediate care, is that there's two tests. There's the reflexive test, and then they do a supplemental test. Which means is if the reflexive test comes back positive, they will do another test to make sure that the previous results were correct. So I had a false positive. Imagine the amount of fucking people that get a fucking false positive and then shoot themselves. Or do some wild shit. I got it. Might as well just start hitting these bitches raw. And never go back to get retested. Never even look at the tests or anything else like that. Never even say, you know what, let me get a second opinion or anything like that. Or let me just, this is my life. This is how I got to live, so on and so forth. Let me get, whatever, right? Like, let me get the medication to suppress, flare-ups and everything else like that. So they don't happen as often or they don't hurt as much when they happen. Like, let me, doing none of that. Just continue to be irresponsible, right? Or being knowingly irresponsible. Knowing, I didn't know. But I knew, like I found out, right? I fucked around and found out. And, the more you fuck around, the more you find out. And he told me that. So what he says is they have they have these tests that's with reflexive and then the supplemental. And I don't totally understand with reflexive essentially is that when they do the test, it reacts, right? Or reflexes. And that's how they say, hey, listen, you have it because when we did this test, a reflex or it came back and, it showed some type of, not resistance, but reflex. That's the most I know about it. Anybody else that knows a little bit more, that'd be great. Talk about it. That'd be great. It'll help other people. But the supplemental test is made so they test it again. And I'm not sure if they tested a different way, but they tested again and that came up negative. And I was just like, and you just look at the paper that says the positive, then you don't really look like, one, you don't know what the fuck this shit means. Because if somebody asks me about like the code that I write or even in a different language, there's some things you just don't fucking understand. Like .NET, I am not a fan of that fucking language. And it is syntactically is different. It's just different. So I can understand like say like Python and Java is just a little bit on the annoying side because but like I'm not gonna give somebody a sheet of paper or a file with some fucking code in it and say, all right, let me know if I have an infinite loop in there. While true, right? If you know, you know. Like, you don't fucking know none of that shit. So you're looking at the fucking paper and you just look at the fucking positive result. Damn, they right. I got it. Fuck. On the next page, it shows IgG, I, uppercase G, lowercase g, capital I, lowercase I, and then capital G. And that's how they do the test. But it's the IgG test. And with herpes, you don't know how long you've had it if you do have it. And my shit says negative. And I'm like, I'm like, what? And then, you know, we go through it, and then, you know, he's like, and I'm like, Doc, I know I'm repeating myself, man, but like, you know, can we test again? He was so sure. He was just like, I don't really want to waste your money, man. Like, you ain't got it. And like, if you have lesions, you'll know you'll have it. And one thing that's very annoying about when you look up some of this stuff, because it's like buying a house or buying a car, it all depends, because it really does depend on you. So you can't look up the quote unquote, like almost like an incubation or the period of time from when you contract something to when you'll show. So again, with like herpes, you may not show for fucking decades. And then out of nowhere, boop, boop, bloop, bloop. And then you get these fucking bumps popping up, you know, like fucking, like a cluster of Diglett. Just fucking, just on, like, it's a fucking Diglett Pokemons all over your fucking dick, just growing out of your fucking shit. Like, Rah! Diglett, I choose you. And you'll never look at Diglett the same. And that was the crazy shit about it, is that when you're looking at, like, when you're going through this, like, you don't really know what to think and whatever. So that was a relief, but it wasn't like over for me at that point, because I'm like, yo, at that point, I'm not really mad at the immediate care that I went to. I'm really like, I'm not sure. I'm still confused, because you say I got it, she said, and you say I don't got it, he said. Like, you know, my doctor at he was like, nah, you're good. I don't want to waste your money. And I'm like walking out of there like new lease on life. I'm feeling good. I pretty much took the rest of the day off from that point. I went and ate. I was just like, man, this lunch break about to be a whole day, bitch. So, but I'm like, all right, cool. We got to see what's going on with this. We got to see where they went wrong, or they went wrong, and what the lady said. And you know, just compare notes and see what's going on here. So I took those same results and, you know, left that whole thing. And definitely get your prostate check. It sucks. Culturally speaking, we don't like talking about, you know, having two in your stink and the guy pressing up against your walls and pretty much saying, relax. You know, it's crazy when a guy gives you a fucking set of Kleenex and just said, all right, cool. Wipe the grease out of your ass. TMI. But it's not that big a deal. Go ahead and get it, man. And it was funny because, like, this is after, like, the whole thing with the doc. He's like, nah, you're good unless you see lesions, and you'll fucking know if you got it because them shits is going to hurt. So after that, I'm like, well, sir, you know, I wanted to see what's also next for testicular cancer and prostate cancer. And he's like, yeah, we can do it right now. And I'm like, Doc, right now? So he's you know, he does the testicular cancer and, you know, feels up on my junk. And he's like, yeah, you know, every day you take a shower, feel up on your stuff. And I was like, yeah, Doc, I feel up on my stuff all the time. Just making fun of this shit or making jokes out of this shit. And then he's like, all right, well, you know, turn that way. I'm like, and I look back and I'm like, Doc, will this make me gay? And he goes, no. He's like, no, and it definitely won't make me gay. And, you know, he does the prostate exam and shit. It's not that big a deal, dudes. Go ahead and get that shit done. I'm 37 going on 38 this end of this year. And it's definitely something that you want to get, you know, because I've talked about MGTOW retirement in the past, and making sure that, you know, you have, you put things that you make sure that you're going to be around to enjoy your retirement. That's why I do all the workouts. I work out 5 times a week. Excuse me. Still a big guy, but I'm getting stronger and everything else like that. Y'all saw me repping 405 again, back up to benching 315, squatting 405 for multiple reps and everything. So getting there. But you just see this shit, man, and you see, like, you're in that situation and you're like, damn, like, fuck. it could have really turned out bad. Like, I sat in my truck for a minute and I was just like, whoa. Whoa. It's not over yet, but whoa. So then, damn, it's 30 minutes. So then I go back to the immediate care and I say, hey, listen, I got these tests and my doctor says I'm good. Can I talk to a nurse? Like, how can this happen in terms of reading the test? I don't know who to believe. And already in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna have to take this test again. So I talked to the lady and she was like, yeah, you're a little bit elevated, but it's not really that big a deal. It's not really that much, like it's slight elevation, nothing serious. Because I don't know what's slight. Like, for instance, you ever work with something where the range is, 0.0 to 1. And if you have like 0.2 or something like that, it's a big deal. So I don't know the scale is what I should be saying. So even if I go from 0.91 to 1.16, it's a small number. But then where does the number end? Does it end at 100? Because then if it ends at 100, then it's not a big deal. But you don't know. It could be the beginning of you having something and it builds up over time. And as I said, actually I didn't say. Anyways, keep on going. So you don't know. So then I start talking to her. She's like, yeah, it's slightly elevated. But and I was like, so what would cause this? Because I came in here for allergies. Is it because I'm sick? I was sick or something like that? She's like, no, that won't really cause that. The biggest thing is, as it said in the supplemental test, it says come back in 2 to 4 weeks and retest. And I was like, okay. And it says that about when you're in the equivocal range too, because then you're gearing up to get like positive. But when you're in that range, then you need to come back and get tested. And essentially, you need to test until it shows that it's not a problem, or until you're like, hey, listen, I got it, and it is what it is. Sorry. So that was that Monday, March 13th. And March 6th. 6 plus 7, yeah, it's 13. All right, cool. So I'm like, shit. Wow, like really, Neo, dodged the fucking bullet out this bitch. But it's not totally over. It's kind of like the bullet, the fucking blaster fire in the new Star Wars with Kylo Ren, and he stops the fucking shit in midair. And it's just like sitting there, and just walks around it. But it hasn't stopped. Like, it's still like vibrating, so like it could still fucking hit you type shit. It's like a little fucking homing laser blaster. So I go through that and I'm like, all right, cool. Like, that was a rough couple days. So that's like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And it's still kind of there. So that's like 6 fucking days. Huh? Wait, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So it's like 6 days. Damn. Wow. Okay. Wait. How is that 6 days? So weird. I don't know why. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. That's 6 days. I mean, it works out. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, all right, cool. I feel better. It's a relief. Helps. So on and so forth. And one thing that was very true, and then my doctor reiterated, and it's something that I've used even in computer consulting. You're not there to fix the computer. You're there to fix the person, because the person who uses the computer. The computer is just pretty much a dumb object that waits for, or was a dumb object that waits for commands and so on and so forth, right? Like, click here, do this, interact with me, transfer data, blah, blah, blah. Whereas, he was like, yeah, sometimes the biggest thing is just really kind of helping the person mentally get over whatever diagnosis is there. And that's the bedside manner stuff or whatever. So I'm feeling good, feeling better. Everything's good, right? I finally got retested the other day, this past Sunday, which was Sunday, 23rd, so minus 6. So it was the 16th. Yeah, March 16th. No, April 16th. So I get tested. And I get tested this Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Tuesday, they tell me, hey, listen, this test is fine. And then Wednesday, they tell me, yeah, you're negative. You're negative on the reflexive and the supplemental. And I asked him, I was like, is it on, like, what's my index score? She's like, I don't even know. And I was like, can you check? And like, so she checked real quick. And she was just like, this is the phone I'm saying. So, and she checks. She's like, yeah, you're less than 0.91 and you're good to go. And I'm like, whoa. Like, whoa. And I was thinking all these things, like, you know, I'm monk mode, you know, like I was already monk mode. I haven't been chasing after nothing. I was talking with this chick at McDonald's, but it's just, ugh, that's never going to go anywhere. And I was even thinking in my head, I'm like, yo, how am I going to, like, talk to this chick about this shit? Like, what am I going to say to this chick? Like, is she even going to fucking stick around? Like, she care about you that much? Like, all right, cool. So I just pretty much let it die. But I'm thinking about all this shit, man, and just going through it, and I'm like, whoa, that was scary. That was really fucking scary. And as I said, I was going to make this video regardless because, I mean, of course, it would be a lot harder to make it when you, like, do have it, right? It's easier to make it when, like, you don't have it or it's not an issue. But when you do have it, it's like, fuck. You know, and BGS talked about this a while ago, right? Like, we talk about diesels, coffee girls, and all this other stuff, and like pussy gonna be cheap, you know, shit, I'm gonna be fucking for a light bill and a light bill, and that bitch gonna go crazy if I pay the water bill, like, and a cell phone bill, like that bitch might want to marry me, like. And then there's the other side of it, like you're just exposing yourself to more shit, like to more stuff. You know, financially transmitted diseases, sexually transmitted diseases, mentally transmitted diseases, where you just like, this person starts to fuck with your peace. You know, all the other things that come along with relationships, intercourse, whether it be a situationship or a full-on relationship. So we can talk about how, like, hey, I'm gonna get this and this is gonna be cool and so on and so forth. But it's gonna be, it's a lot different when, you know, it's a lot different when, like, you on the bad side of that. Like, it's a double-edged sword. You know, it cuts in your favor, but it can also cut you type shit. And it's like, now that you're fine, will you still make those changes that you were saying? The things you said to God if you didn't have this? Huh? This is the real test, my son. The real test. So I think about that as well. And I'm like, That's pretty much the video, man. As I said, I'm fine, but what does this mean for us? We see everything that's happening. We see how I just put this video in the Telegram chat talking about this one chick, or it was just, it's this gay dude, and I'm gonna post it as a yeah, I'll post it as a video if it comes up as a short or not. But I'm like, dude, are you serious? The way this dude was acting, like, you know, like he was entitled to a person's money. Oh, you acting like I'm a trick. Yes, the fuck? Yes, that's what you're here for. What you thought this was. Like, no, I don't want to eat. I was full when I got here. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I got this video from my ex-girlfriend, and I was like, is this how a lot of women think? Like, you know, is this how most women think? Like, is this how y'all really think? Because I'm thinking to myself, I was like, yo, this is cute, but, you know, and ha, kiki, funny, you know, but this person, to me, it's like that because I don't take it seriously. Because it's like, I'm not fucking with you regardless, not just because, definitely not fucking with you. Not my type. Not the right plumbing. But also just like, yeah, you wouldn't really be around this like for a long period of time. Like, all right, cool. Like, if it was like a woman, a real woman, and she acted like this, like I've dealt with chicks and just like let them go because it like, bitch, you're mean. I don't fucking be around your mean ass. Like, get the fuck out of here. I'm not paying for you to be fucking mean to me. Like, I slap the shit out. Like, bro, I be saying this shit all the time, and I sound super abusive. But I swear to God, some of the shit that some of these women say, I'd be like, listen, man, I'm gonna hit you shit. I swear to God, if like I could just put you in a ring and we could do a slap contest, and I'm like dislocating the whole bottom row of the teeth of some of these fucking women with the shit that they be saying, bro. And I be really wanting it to happen. Like some of these women just like, yo, you need to get checked because we're dealing with and BGS, I asked for a video on that. I requested a video on that, and we'll see if he makes it. Hopefully he does. But some of these chicks, man, it's like you just want to. It's just like, yo, who raised you to be pretty much a hoe? Like, everything is monetary, transactional. You know, I mean, it gets you short-term gain, but like, what's gonna happen in the long term? Oh, I found somebody. You sure? Because there's a lot of 40, 50-year-olds that are out here like, I can't deal with y'all. I be getting approached by younger men and stuff like that. And, you know, it's cool. But, you know, I don't, you know, you're looking at fucking Megan Good and NLE Choppers coming after her, trying to holler at her and shit like that. And she's hanging up the phone on him like, bitch, come on now. You a toss up now, bitch. Like, you was married. You should have stayed with Devon. But like, you a toss up now. Calm down. Calm down. Go ahead and call that young man back. Get your fucking. Oh man, go ahead and call that young man back, man. Stop playing. Stop playing. You know, play your position. This is what you wanted. And it's like, that's kind of what BGS has talked about. Like, yo, listen, we as men, like, I know I was that hyped for it. But then going through this, like, recent scare and shit, and it's just like, I don't want it. That's not what I wanted. So, it's kind of crazy. But, gotta be careful. Gotta really be out here. If you gonna do that dirt, don't be surprised when you get dirty. I'll leave it at that. I appreciate you all. I really do. Love y'all all. And wish you guys all the best. Be safe. But when other brothers see stuff like this, what will it call for in our community, in the manosphere? What are we really going to, excuse me, how is the landscape gonna change moving forward? That's the thing that, like, I think about now. Is like, how is the landscape gonna look with all the stuff that's going on and what we're doing? How is the landscape gonna look? And will we be prepared for that? It's a whole new frontier, so to speak. Can we navigate it? Can we navigate the traps? And sometimes, you know, you have to get caught in a trap just so you can warn the others. Hey, listen, man, there's a landmine over here. And of course, you can't say that because you're in the process of being exploded. But you get my point. They'll get the drift. Oh, don't go that way. Your grizzly got blown up. And that's why I've thought about this space for a while. Is this space is quicksand. Oh, sorry. This environment is quicksand. My foot's already in it. Chest. Like, I'm already in it. A lot of brothers in the millennial generation, we're already in it. Like, and what we're doing in terms of what this manosphere does and the efficacy that, or the, in terms of this space's efficacy, in terms of how it can affect others, what we're doing is ensuring that someone else doesn't fall into the same quicksand. MRAs did it for us. Big Towels did it for us. You know, we're like Jesus Christ. We're dying for your sins, so you can have a chance. Jesus loves you. Y'all have a nice one. Be safe. Peace. Love y'all all.